the Czech part, they never had liked the Czechs sort of bossing them around, even though they didn't directly boss them around, but they knew that the Czechs were more culturally advanced. They had education, they knew different languages, they had culture. The Slovaks, perhaps through no fault of their own, but the Slovaks were always very culturally backwards, and they had been sort of beaten up by the Hungarians and the others, and if I can't take it out on the big guy, I'll take it out on the Jew. That's how it goes in Europe. I'd like to go and declare war on Russia, but if I can't do that, at least I can kill the Jew who lived down the block. Now we're in the 9 days, we can speak very frankly over here. And the result was that Slovakia broke away and became its own separate country under a Catholic priest, Father Tiso, with the enthusiastic support of the Vatican, because it was a republic, but it was clearly very Roman Catholic. And I didn't say everybody in the country was Catholic, but the government and the whole, power structure was. And they were not only Catholic, but they were always very strongly anti-Semitic. And so they had no trouble whatsoever getting on the bandwagon with Hitler and passing the Nuremberg laws right away in 1939. So, I'm talking about, first of all, you can't marry someone who's not Jewish. So that's one thing. But then you can't have a job, can't sit on the park bench, can't go into the store, can't do this, can't do that. You can't get a degree from college. My mother, by this time, had started dating, she was close to 30. She was in the late 20s. So she met a fellow who she married, and he was a medical student. And to make a long story short, he finished everything. He was in the 99-yard line, and then the new law was passed that you can't get an MD degree. You understand? He finished all of his boards and whatever it is that you take over there, and they said, and then the law was passed. And what do? You understand? And there were even colleagues of his who felt very ashamed of seeing him in the street, and they would still address him as Herr Kollege, because these are decent people. But the bottom line is, you can't work as a doctor. You see? And that's what we're talking about over there when we see the Nuremberg laws and trials and regulations. And Slovakia passed all these, and all of a sudden it became very difficult for Jews. However, there's a big point to remember, and that is because Slovakia, on its own, through its own enthusiastic endorsement of Hitler's policies, became a Hitler wannabe state, they were not part of Germany. They were never occupied by the German army. It was not like Austria, for example, where the German army and the Gestapo and the SS all came in directly. It was not like, for example, when the war started, Poland and the Ukraine and Lithuania, and later France and Greece, which were directly occupied by the Germans. Now, what's the difference? A big difference. Wherever the Germans went directly, they began soon and before long in an organized fashion to systematically kill everybody. I see we have Professor Shapiro. He's the world's expert. I kid you not. He's the world expert. One of the world experts on this sad subject. Wherever the Germans, if they went into Poland, they made up their mind in it's a machlokas. Did they make up their mind in 1941 or 42? But it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that once they made up their mind to do it, they set about, as we all know, unfortunately, with efficiency, and they killed everybody, just about. Those countries, on the other hand, where the German army did not directly occupy, for whatever reason, say, for example, a country like Slovakia, where they had no need to. The Slovaks are cooperating with them 100%. They're doing all their trade with them. They're exporting all their goods and their food and things like this to Germany. They like the Germans. They want Hitler to win the war. They don't want that. So there was no reason for the Germans to directly take over the country. And the result is that the Jews in these types of states, another example would be Hungary, for example. Another example would be Romania or Bulgaria. These were countries that were not occupied by the Germans and were not taken over. They had their own governments. They had their own homegrown anti-Semites, but they weren't Germans. And if it wasn't Germany, you could do shtick. It was possible. If it was under the Germans, you couldn't. If it was countries where, Hungary, whatever, you can get what you can call exemptions from various gezeras because you're an important war worker or you're classified 3DF point paragraph 2. And maybe the reason you got that is because you have a cousin who paid off somebody in the Interior Ministry.